Hello everyone. I'm excited to bring this technique to you. It is easy and simple and customizable for different curl formations. We have two different looks to show you. This curl formation is closer to level 4, similar to mine. So my heart is near and dear to this technique and it balancing perfectly with the curls. And then we have another formation here, which is a little bit tighter. I've pre-done this one as well. This one's more of a 8 formation, so it's a little bit tighter, and I'll show you how we change the different techniques for that. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started, get our hands right into some hair. The product that I'm using today is my favorite choice for curly hair because it's our non-ammonia clay from L'Oreal Professionnel. It's smooth, creamy, it stays exactly where I put it, and it's going to protect the hair when you're a little bit nervous about curls, because let's be honest, our hair is a little bit dry. We want to feel cool as well and have highlights, but we have to be careful. So this is the side that's all pre-done. You can see there's a lot of nice even dimension there with that trendy pop in the front, because us curly hairs want trend too. See? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. It's so easy. I named this technique the Lizzo. I like to name my techniques because it gives me something fun to post on social media. And it's also like, I had to remember for a second, what am I posting for? Who am I talking to? And I realized that I'm talking to my clients and I want them to have something fun to ask for. For those of you who just joined us, this is a harebrained Facebook takeover with Sophia Avera from L'Oreal Professionnel. We are using French balayage on curly hair. This is a 20-minute technique, 8 sections, so easy. Let me just tilt this down so you can see a little bit better. All right, so I've pre-sectioned her hair. In the first section, I want the entire hairline out. So something to keep in mind with the hairline, and this just came up in my class today, was that sometimes we're making the hairline part a little bit too perfect, and instead of focusing on what's at the scalp, I actually want you to focus on what's left down here. So with curly hair, I don't want any dark spots because I can't make it look better by straightening it. Now, if I straighten it, it's gonna look nice and bright and beautiful. But if I don't, which is most of the time, and I don't have a choice where my curls come from, I really don't want dark spots. So when you're taking your hairline section, I would go ahead and account for the recession and the ear by going up a little bit higher than you normally would. So don't make it like this perfect line because, well, let's be honest, I probably haven't had a perfect hairline since I was 14. So this is our first section. We're gonna go in and make a really, really bold piece. Just like all the trendy looks right now in straight hair, I wanted to create something that could be applied to curly hair too. I'll turn her toward you. Just move that card over. Okay, so in this piece, we have a nice even veil throughout the bottom. The coolest part about clay is that it stays where you put it. So for tools, all I have are my gloves, a great brush, some pretty clips, and my product. My favorite mix for clay is 50 grams of clay to about 60 grams of Maja Creme Developer. Now, I like to use a scale for lightener because it saves me money and time, and then I'm consistent every single time. Move for a little bit. So you can see I'm applying the entire section, but I want it off root. You know, this is gonna be nice and bold and bright, but I want it soft near the root because with curls, we like a little bit of that depth. So you're going to apply it, get it nice and saturated, and then use your gloves to work it through. I like to use like the back of my finger just to blur up slightly, or even a scissoring motion is nice. Well, one thing I will say, if you're an overbrusher, and I know you're out there, so put a thumbs up in the comments if you tend to overbrush, just get the product on, let it be, and then move on to the next section. If there's anything students ask me about in classes, is they're always like, Sophia, I wanna get faster, I wanna get faster. Well, a lot of times we're just overworking the same section. So get your product on it, Be confident in your application and move forward. So now we're moving up over the ear. So we're just going to take this in the next section exactly the same way. Load our brush. A good amount of product. Apply it on the hair about at the mid shaft. Working down and then using your gloves to blend it in. So this is a 20-minute curly hair French balayage technique. It was my interpretation of creating a nice, bold look, something that's really on trend, but for curly hair, because we want that look too, and everyone has this cool piece around the front. And I was like, hey, I want that, so I need to create that for us. You can see on this side, for those of you who just joined in, this is what we're working toward. See the nice bold front with some soft dimension, respecting the curl pattern throughout. Okay, so we've already done 2 sections. This is our hairline. We've gone up over the recession and now we're working toward the front. Okay, so trust yourself, don't overbrush. Nice saturation. You see why I like my product a little bit thicker? Because when you're free painting like this, you don't want it to be soupy or sloppy, right? You want it to stay exactly where you put it so that you can trust the creativity in your process. When you're painting curly hair, there's a couple red flags that I like to look out for. So first, don't overbrush, get the product on, leave it where you put it and trust yourself. And second, maybe don't oversection. So if there's anything that I notice when I'm at the airport, traveling, or even in the salon, when I look at curly hair and highlights, I immediately see the dark spots or the inconsistency of the shape of the curls. So for me, it's really a kind of my thing to make sure that I respect the curls exactly where they're laying. Just like when I get my hair cut, she cuts my hair dry and looks at like where my hair has volume, where it's gonna lay, and this helps to respect my curl. So I will say I kind of stole this technique from the person who cuts my hair. Star, you know who you are. All right, so go ahead in the front, trust yourself. I'm angling it just slightly so that we can emulate that nice bold front. In this technique, the entire hairline is saturated. There's nothing dark left in there. And I'll tell you why, because when we wear a hair curly, we want everything to be even and bright all around our hairline. Otherwise, it kind of looks like we have dark holes. Okay, perfect. So our hairline is done. See, if you just joined us, with the hairline, we went up and above to compensate for around the ear, and then also up and above to compensate for the recessions. Because if you leave that and you don't compensate for that, then you're gonna have dark spots. And if you're wondering, like, how do I check and make sure I don't have dark spots? Just pull your hair down. I think if you overthink sectioning, you know, raise your hand, put in a smiley face. If you overthink sectioning, maybe take a step back, especially with balayage, and start looking at the perimeter of the hair more than digging into the interior. So if you're looking at the perimeter, you can pull it down and go, oh, okay, now I see some areas where I think I need to take some more hair because it looks like it's missing. If you have this veil of hair and there are areas that look shallow, unfortunately, they're gonna end up being dark spots for the client. Here we go. So hang in there because this girl is next. We have it for 2 different textures, this formation and this guy. So we named this technique the Lizzo. If you missed it before, I like to name my techniques because I'm sick of thinking about what to put in my captions. Am I the only one? It kind of like, I don't know, I don't have anything creative. I'll create a great picture and then all of a sudden I'm looking at my phone and I can't think of something. So I decided a couple years ago that when I create a technique for clients, to start naming them after my clients so that it gives the client something to come in and ask for, and it gives me something fun to put in my caption. Okay, so the second section, you can see there are just 3 sections on the head that I've taken following the hairline. So the first one goes above the recession, above the ear, all the way to the nape. The second one is about 2 inches in depth, and I'm gonna pull it down and just look at the pattern of the curls and the natural texture and freehand this. So don't overthink it, just make sure that there's a nice even amount of hair. And I'm just gonna free form and grab the curls and paint them. Now I want it to be slightly staggered, so I'm trying to create a look similar to what I have, which is nice and bold in the front and then soft throughout. So the L'Oreal clay gives me this ability to be this free and to not worry about putting plastic in between or putting foils. Now you can use foils with the clay, which is really cool. So if I have someone that I'm worried about lifting and I want a little bit more power, I could put a foil around this piece. You can see I'm just taking sections, like I can see even in my phone right here, this is a piece that I want to be nice and bright. So I'm just hand painting around the curl formation. As I work through the top of the head, I'm going to move lower and lower on my line of insertion. So in the area around the hairline, you could see I was maybe a ½ an inch off the root, solid all the way around. And then as I move up, I'm gonna stagger it a little bit and start in the mid shaft. And then for the top section, I really just want it on the ends, because the whole point of this look is to create this nice, bright balayage highlight, but on curly hair. So we need to make sure that we're focusing the light from here all the way throughout. Okay, so again, I'm just kind of looking at the way the hair lays and the natural curls. And I'm gonna put it on the ends. Great, so it's even and staggered. Last section, don't overthink it. It's so simple. Pull down the curls, look at the veil, and just use your eyes. Now remember, there are gonna be shallow spots that aren't going to match on the left and right side, especially if your client wears an over-the-shoulder bag. That side's probably gonna have a little bit of hair missing. So we'll just go through, grab the pieces that we know need a little bit of brightness, almost like a bricklay technique, and give some pop to connect them to that really bold hairline. I like to leave the top pretty soft because that's what's trending, right? Gotta keep it cool. Okay, I'm gonna grab one left in the front, and then we're gonna switch our mannequins and show you on the other one. Again, if you just joined us, this is Sophia Avera with L'Oreal Professionnel. We're here in Greenville, South Carolina. Thank you, Urban Nirvana, for hosting us. This is a harebrained Facebook takeover for beautiful French balayage on curly hair. Do you guys see that? Say hello in the chat box if you love it. Thumbs up. Ooh, look at all those hearts. Okay, we're doing a little switch. Now this, look at how cool that is. So again, when you're looking at curly hair, step back. Don't go on the inside. What we want to see is that nice trendy balance, just like straight hair people. We want the bold, solid bottom, some depth left in between, and different pieces throughout. Hey everyone, thanks for saying hello. Okay. So I want to do this hairline section with you so I can show you what I was talking about on the other mannequin. A hairline isn't a straight line because we don't have a straight line in our hairline. We have a high recession in an ear. So when you're taking your hairline, take that into consideration and go up over the recession when you're going over to the ear. Let me just grab a clip for me. Go up over the ear too. I have a lovely assistant behind this camera, by the way. She's helping me and I'm so grateful. Okay, so the hairline is not perfect, So your section should not be perfect either. And what we're looking for is a nice even veil of hair so that when we paint it, she won't have any dark holes here. Okay, so we've gone up. All right, let's get started. We're going to start in the back the same way we did the last time. Don't overthink it, don't overbrush, and don't oversection. Painting with clay and painting with curls is so creative, and as a curly haired person, I have to tell you that what I want is for someone to just step back and look at where my curls are dark and paint them. I don't want intricate sections, and I also don't want it to look like a noodle. I've had highlights before in my curly hair, and I was like, why does it look like that? So for me, these big bold panels are they just take care of that problem. All right, always have a little clip by your side so you can easily clip it away. This is my entire section. I'm taking it in my hand. Keep it off of the root. Remember, over brushers, don't brush too much. Brush the product on, trust yourself, and move on. Some of us have a tendency to brush the product on, over brush, and just pull it right back off again. So I've touched both sides of the piece. Now the hairline is going to be solid because that way, you know, when you wear your hair down and you have a lot of texture, you want this nice, beautiful, soft ring all the way around your face. Okay, so first section is done. Second section, I'm going to do it exactly the same way. Start in the mid shaft. Now, the consistency of this product is what is allowing me to be so creative because it's not dropping off of my brush. If you missed it, my favorite measurement for my clay is 50 grams of clay to 60 grams of developer. We're using L'Oreal Professional's Clay 7. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, I would love to show you more of my work. My Instagram is @SophiaColor. On Facebook, I'm Balayage by Sophia. I love teaching. If you've been in one of my classes, please say hello. If you have questions and I can't see them right now because I'm painting and this is a very quick, short hair brain, I will go back and answer them. So please put them in the chat box. Okay. Last section in the front. Oh, doesn't that look good? It's so satisfying. We want this nice, bright, bold piece too. It's not just for straight hair peeps, okay? All right, awesome. So last but not least, now we're going to finish her look. All right, you can see here, the trend of this technique is to have it nice, bright all the way around the hairline. And then throughout, just go and hand pick, just making sure it's balanced. So the best thing you can do, just to recap for this French curly balayage, is to step back, look at the curl pattern, make sure that you can see if there are any shallow areas or other areas that you might be missing. Don't oversection, don't overbrush, and also just trust yourself. You know, curly hair is more about what's at the bottom than what's at the root, which makes it completely different from sectioning really, really, really straight hair.